Hello friends, question for you. What was the first all-plastic bodied cylinder vacuum cleaner that was sold in the UK? Now I start this video with that question because I think possibly it was the machine in this box. Now, when I think about what was the first all-plastic cylinder vacuum cleaner sold in the UK, the machine that immediately springs to mind is the Hoover Freedom from 1973. If you think about what was on the market at that time, predating 73, you think about the machines that Electrolux were selling, you think about the machines Hoover were selling, the machines Goblin were selling. They're all metal-bodied. They're all metal-bodied cylinder cleaners. And yeah, I could sit here all day and I could think about it. There might be some really rare, obscure machine that was all plastic-bodied, but I've just got a funny feeling in my water that this machine was the first. Or rather, the machine's brother. So what I've got in the box here is actually the second version of the machine that I think was the first one that had a plastic body, if that makes sense. So I think we should open this box up and have a look at what we've got. I will say this is incredibly heavy. This is like one of the heaviest flipping things I've ever tried to open. It's really, really heavy. I need to try and get into it. I'm not sure how to do it. I think if I go this way, it should work. This was well, I bought this machine off eBay from my friend George. So I think, and I didn't know it was being sold by George at the time. So that was quite cool. He messaged me after I hit the buy it now button and said somebody has just bought my vacuum cleaner. And I said, "Oh, who's that then?" And he said, "It's you." I thought, "Oh God." But yeah, so that was a nice surprise. I just need to try and work out how to get into this. If I go in this way, oh, that might work actually. Let's take off. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. I think that might do it. It's two boxes that have been put into one, so it's slightly tricky. Oh goodness me. Actually, it might be easier if I just cut the top of the box off. What can I do that way? This is really well packed. He's packed it really, really well. Really, really well. Let's try. Can I get in this way? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's making inroads. Can I do it like that? Right, I think I can actually get into it now. If I do it like this, I should be able to get it. Yeah, he's packed it incredibly well. Well done, George. You've done a superb job there, my friend. Do like that. And get rid of some of this cardboard. Okay, right, so we can actually start getting a look at it now. So I'm going to show you a couple of bits. We'll do the usual, and then as you see it coming out, you can sort of guess what it is. So there's the hose. Now there is some damage to this machine. You can see there that the plastic is broken on that cup, and in fact the cup is loose. So we're going to have to repair that. But there's the hose. And if I show you the machine end, there you go. Just very simple. And we have some rods here. Here's one rod. I think this is aluminium. So one aluminium rod there, and another one there. Now we don't have the correct bent end for it, so we've got a pneumatic Henry bent end, which is fine. It'll work with this machine, so that's cool. And we should have some more bits and pieces. So we've got this floor tool here. That might be an Electrolux floor tool. I don't think that goes with this cleaner. And I think that may be a Hoover extension rod there. I think they're stuck. So yeah, It's like an extra bonus. What else have we got? I'm sort of going in the wrong way here, if you get what I mean. So let's just try and get this out. There's an awful lot of packaging. I can see the machine, which is great. There should be another floor tool in here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Wow. Goodness, it's been a long time since I've seen one of these. A long, 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 long time. Alright, I think I'm going to have to pull the machine out now. So you can see it. So what we've got here is, oh my god, it's so heavy. It's just so unbelievably heavy. A Goblin model 702. It is quite a machine, I will say. It's I haven't had one of these for a long, 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 long time. A really, really long time. Ah, here we go. Here's the other head. Now this head is unfortunately broken, and I knew it was broken when I bought it. You see there that this piece of plastic is cracked off. And it's very old. Goodness me. We'll get to talk about it properly shortly. But you know, if you see there that the plastic's broken on that tool, but that's fine. We can fix that. That is not too difficult to repair. So that can be done. And I think that should be about it. Everything that's in the box. I can't feel anything else. There's an awful lot of packaging here. This is, wow, good God. Oh, the box is already heavy too. Oh, okay, let's get that down there. So there we go. Yes, a Goblin model 702. Now, this is a very unusual cleaner for many, many reasons. And I think in this video, I want to talk you through some of its quirks and features. I sound like that guy Doug. But yeah, it's really odd. It is a really odd cleaner. Now, I actually had to make some notes on this because there's quite a lot of things that I need to talk you through. As you can see, it's a cylinder machine. Oh, it's so heavy. I'm going to put it up on its end, like so you can see it in all of its glory. Yeah, it's a weird one. It has been a long time since I have owned one of these. Probably 25 years ago, I was hanging around in a back lane, and I just stumbled across one of these, just thrown away. Someone had just chucked it out. I was looking at it going, what is that? Because I'd never seen one. Never ever seen one. And I was looking at it, I was thinking, my God, is that a Goblin? And I looked and I was like, yeah, it is. And then looking at what the model is, 702. Never ever heard of a 702. So obviously I dragged it home. Now, that's the last thing I had expected to find in a back lane. So it was a great find. And I don't think that machine actually worked. I think the motor was burnt out on it, which was a real shame. So I probably kept it for a bit, had a play with it, and yeah, I think I chucked it in the bin, which is a real shame. But there's a couple of very strange things about this cleaner. First of all, really, I should talk about how old this is. Now, as I mentioned, this is model 702. Apparently, from my research, there was a model 701, which was almost exactly the same as this cleaner. In the very few pictures that I can find of 701 and 702, to compare them, there's very little difference. In fact, I can't see any difference to them. They're even the same colour. They're meant to, well, it was previously white. This one's quite faded, with this blue sort of. It's like a vinyl covering. This has a name actually. This material. I can't remember what it is. I did see it yesterday, but I'll go and find it and put up a little comment. But that 701, I think, was released in 1969, and I think 702 is from 1971. I think I've just got that. I need to have a quick look at my notes. I think that's what it was. So yes, 702. 1971 to 1978-ish, around that kind of time. But if 701 was all plastic bodied and it was launched in 1969, does that make it the very first all plastic bodied cylinder vacuum cleaner to be sold in the UK? And does that mean 702 was the second? I'm not entirely sure. As I mentioned to you, I could sit here and ponder it all day and just try and work it out, but what do you guys think? Do you think it's the first all plastic bodied cylinder machine? It possibly could be, unless there's some, as I say, some really obscure one. Next thing to say about this is it has a very strange motor in it. Really, really odd. Now, I am planning to take this apart in the next video on it, and I'll actually show you the motor. This has a bypass motor fitted to it. Now, what that means is that the air that comes into the fans is ejected out of the side of the fan case. It does not flow over the motor itself. It doesn't flow over the field coil or the armature. And normally you'll find bypass motors in wet and dry vacuum cleaners. And that's because if they suck up any water and the water goes into the fan, it doesn't spurt it into the field or the armature, and it keeps the water away from the electricity. Obviously, water and electricity don't mix, which makes perfect sense. Obviously, you would have a bypass motor in a wet and dry cleaner. But why would you have a bypass motor in a normal, standard cylinder vacuum cleaner? This is not a wet and dry vacuum cleaner. Wet and dry cleaners didn't really come onto the market until 1980, really. Aquavac, Shopvac started to sell them around that time. And this machine predates that by, well, if you include 701, 11 years. So it's very, very strange. It's a very strange choice on Goblin's part to put a bypass motor into a normal cylinder vacuum cleaner. And you can really tell that that is a big motor, because this cleaner is really heavy. All the weight is here, obviously, because that's where the motor is. But it is so heavy. It's like a beast. It's a beast of a cleaner. And the other really interesting thing is the power of it. Now, if 701 had the same motor, or the same rated motor, and I'm 99% sure it did, because that was bypass too. Excuse you. Might be something inside. We'll have a look. It's 750 watts. 750 watts for 1969. That's unbelievable. Most machines in 69, like the real top of the range ones, they were like what, 575, 600 watts, and like the cheaper cleaners were 300 watts, the cheaper cylinder cleaners. So to have a machine that's twin fan, 750 watts, is unbelievable. The first Freedoms were, well, one of the first Freedoms was 750 watts. And they were quite powerful. Well, I'm not going to say really powerful. They were quite powerful. But 750 watts in 1969, 1971 is unbelievable. I'm quite looking forward to switching this cleaner on and yeah, just finding out how powerful it really is. Now it has this dial here on the top, and this says on it suction control. You might be sort of fooled into thinking that this was like a electronic speed control dial. It's not at all. All this does is it opens a valve within the dust box area, dust bag area. So the air can leak out. If you put it down to 1, then the valve is fully open. Sorry, min, then the valve is fully open. All the air leaks out. And if you put it up to maximum, it seals up the hole, and you get all of your suction, all of your airflow through it. Quite a clever idea, and you can understand why they did that, because the machine is so powerful that it needs a method of actually reducing the amount of suction power, because that head is going to stick itself to the floor and you're not going to be able to use it. And another interesting thing, in the pictures that I've seen, 701 and 702 don't have this style hose. It's really odd. I don't quite understand why this hose is with this cleaner. All the pictures show 702 with a woven hose, the same style hose that would have been supplied with the Electroluxes of the time. That, you know, a real good quality hose. This is just really cheap and nasty. This one's gone particularly stiff. Actually, I can't compress it hardly at all. But this hose is what Goblin would have supplied with their really cheap machines, the Goblin Compact, the 555. And I'm not sure if this is the right hose for this cleaner. I mean, as I say, I've seen the pictures where 702 has a woven style hose, so I'm dubious about that. I don't think it is, but there we go. Now, the other really interesting thing about this is the dust bag. Now I'm going to bring you down closer so I can actually open the machine and you can see the bag. So let's do that now. Now, it's pretty standard Goblin affair to take the machine's face off. And normally what you would expect to see when you do this on a cylinder vacuum cleaner of this age is you would undo the clips, the face of the cleaner would come off, and you would be left with the cloth dust bag. But 702 does it completely differently. If I pull the face of the machine off and just pull this bag out, you'll see that the bag is actually attached to the face of the cleaner. And we have a nice couple of bulldog clips here holding the end closed. I'm just going to put this on the floor. God, it's so heavy. Oh. Like so we can see this better. Yeah, so the bag, as I say, it's permanently attached to the face of the 702. And we've got like a label here, actually. This is the original Goblin bag, because we've got Goblin written here at this point. It's very, very faded and very hard to read. I can make out carefully there, but I can't really make out any of the other text on it. It does say important, this bag must not be washed. I have a funny feeling actually that I think at some point this bag has actually been washed, and that's probably why this is all faded off. Now we have a couple of really, really serious bulldog clips here that are holding the end of the bag shut. Oh, and also, yeah, this as well, look, there's a little pouch here. There's this little pouch, which is really cool. Is there something in it? Oh yeah, look. Oh, that's interesting. There's a little... oh god, okay, I think at some point that was an air freshener pouch. Has it got anything? This might be homemade, actually. I think it is homemade. This isn't a Goblin branded piece of cloth. I think somebody's put some herbs and spices in there. So this is like where you put your air freshener. Kind of tricky to do this, but yeah, you pop it in that little pouch. And then obviously as the machine's running, it's drawing the air through that and then freshening your air, which is pretty cool. I like that, it's quite neat. So yeah, the bulldog clips are here because the end of the bag is actually held closed by Velcro. Now, this machine is probably around 50 years old, and you imagine all the times that Velcro has been opened and closed, opened and closed, opened and closed, and it's just basically worn out. So somebody has very wisely put some very serious bulldog clips on the end to keep it shut. And that's like one of the really weird quirks of this cleaner. You very rarely see that. You very rarely see the dust bag actually attached to the machine's face. And there's a little flap in there as well. There's a little rubber flap. I don't know if you can see it. Probably can't. Which I guess is to keep the hole closed. So no dust poofs back out of it. It's very, very odd. Very, very strange. Well, I don't know why they chose to do it that way, but at least we've got something to talk about. Right, I've now plugged the 702 in. Oh, actually, I tell you what, before we do that, we can actually take the rear of the cleaner off. So let's have a look and see what we can see under this panel. That's a very Electrolux style thing to do. The fact that you can remove this back cover. Oh, you can't really see much. Oh, I see what I see. And that's interesting. And look there. So we've actually got two holes in the back of the cleaner. Now what's happening here is I can see the cooling fan there for the bypass motor. So it would seem what's happening is the machine is actually, I think, without taking the motor out to confirm, I'm not 100% sure, but I think what it's doing is it's sucking air in here and blowing it out the side. We'll check that when we turn it on. But would it do that though, or would it naturally suck air in from the side and blow it out the back? Actually, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Because what we've got here is the exhaust port for the motor. So the air from the fans is coming out at this point. So it makes sense that the motor is ejecting the air from this point here. Yeah, that makes sense. Sucking in on the sides, because these side bits, they aren't just there to make the machine look nice. These are, I'm pretty sure, where the motor is sucking its cooling air in from. There's one on each side, so that would make sense, wouldn't it? And then obviously if you want to use the machine as a blower, then you just take your hose and you stick the hose in that point there, and then the air from the fan is coming out the hose. It's quite cool. I thought there might be a filter here actually, but no, apparently not. So we just pop this back on. I don't know if you saw it, you probably didn't see it, but there's a pre-motor filter behind the bag. So effectively two-stage filter on this. So I think what we should do is we should turn it on. I plugged the machine in, as I've said. So let's turn it on. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm really curious to see how much suction it's got. So I'm going to press the pedal. Brace yourselves. Slightly grumbly. Yeah, the bearings are very dry. They need some lubrication. Interestingly, I was right the first time. The machine is actually blowing air out of these vents on the side. So that's kind of weird, isn't it? You would have expected it to blow both out the back, but it's blowing the fan air out the back and sucking the cooling air in through this vent, and then sort of going back on itself and ejecting the cooling air out the sides, which is weird. There we go. It's Goblin for you every time. Just one other thing that I want to mention about this. Oh, you saw the suction control working there. I hope when I turned it down, you could hear the pitch of the motor falling as the air leaked out around this valve. The one other really interesting thing about this particular cleaner was its price. Now, in the UK, Goblin was a budget brand, and it was a budget brand from the 1960s onwards, and they just got progressively worse in quality, and they were more and more budget as time went on. Some of the machines they produced weren't too bad. They're very simple cylinder cleaners. Now my anti-Ada, whose convertible is shown there, that one there, she had a Goblin 601 cylinder cleaner, which is a contemporary machine of the 702 actually. And I think she probably bought that in 1968, 1969, something around that time. Same time that she bought that Hoover. Now that particular machine was really nice and it was really long lasting. But again, it was comparatively, as compared to the Hoovers or the Electrolux machines, it was a budget cleaner. It was sort of like medium budget, sort of on that line. But this 702 is absolutely a luxury vacuum cleaner. This was so expensive when it was new. The equivalent money for 2021, you'd be paying over £500 for this cleaner, possibly even up to 550 quid. A lot of money. And it kind of makes you wonder, why did Goblin make it? There's a lot of whys here. Why did they use a bypass motor? Why did they make it in the first place? Why did they attach the dust bag to the machine's front face? An awful lot of whys. And it doesn't really make sense. From a budget brand, you don't make a luxury cleaner. And this was luxury in comparison to what was on the market at that time. This is really quite something. The power of it, the features of it, the toolkit that you got with it, amazing, genuinely amazing. So yeah, why did they make it? So much money, weird. But anyway, I think that's it for this video. I just wanted to show you the 702 and have a chat about it and why it is really strange, really quite rare actually. As I say, this is only the second one that I've ever seen in my entire life. The second one, and I'm really glad to have owned it. I'm really glad to own it now, rather. So thanks to George for sticking it on eBay and sending it so quickly and packaging it so well. I've got a whole pile of packaging down here now that I'm going to have to deal with. And I think what we'll do in the next video is I'm really keen to show you this machine's motor. It needs to be serviced anyway, it's a bit grumbly. I need to fix up some of the tools prior to actually using it. So next video, we'll take the motor out, we'll give it a service and I'll show it to you and I'll show you why it's so strange and it's just so weird. And we'll also have a look at the machine's cooling as well because that's quite interesting. So I think that's it for now. Thanks ever so much for watching. Don't forget to do the usual commenting, subscribing and liking. I really would appreciate it if you did hit that subscribe button. Only 25% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the channel, which is really low. And I get loads of comments, and you know, I love hearing from you guys. So if you could just hit that button for me, I would really appreciate it. But until the next time, that's it for now. You guys take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.